we're going to go over first the syllabus, but then how to navigate the Canvas page and what your weekly expectations are for this course, as well as the signature assignment for this course. So let's begin with the syllabus right here. Okay. So very important, right here is my email address, and that will be important for email correspondence. I have an office hour currently from 9 to 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday. I do expect that this could change depending on my other commitments, such as committee commitments that will be expected of me. And if it does change, I'll change it right here in the syllabus. As this is an online class, I expect that a lot of questions will come via email correspondence. So to help me better help you, I just want to go over some expectations and how best to help me help you. Okay, so first, just that email right there, that's the best contact, and generally I'm going to be checking my emails at least once a day, Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I try and spend that time with my family. So if an email is sent on the weekend, don't expect it to be read or to be looked at until Monday. During high times of the semester, a response could take longer, and so generally during when I get a lot of emails and have a lot of work coming in, a response could take up to 2 days. But the chances are good they'll respond a lot quicker than that, but your expectation should be 1 to 2 days approximately. Okay. When you email me, what's really important and what's really helpful is if you can take a screenshot, either the text or a picture, but the screenshot is generally the best thing of the problem. So that is an absolute must, so that I can correctly identify the problem and answer you and help save time in trying to identify what question is being referred to. If you can include what you tried as a solution, that would be great. This is a little bit less required, but other things that would be helpful would be to put Math 1040 in the subject line and to include your name somewhere in the email. Now, the textbook for this course is in bold right here, and that's as required by the math department. However, a lot of students have told me that they find the lecture notes sufficient for this course, and I've also listed a couple of other online resources, online stats books that you could reference or use if you like. Ultimately, the decision, if you prefer to purchase the textbook as required by the math department, or if you prefer simply to use the lecture notes that are provided in this course, or perhaps an online reference, that decision is up to you. You will need a calculator for this course, and mostly you'll be provided with an online calculator that you can use. In terms of your grade, the components that make up your grade, you have a signature assignment, that's 15% of your grade. Okay. You have homework, that's 30%. And notice the homework is worth as much as both exams put together, or singularly greater than the final exam. So the weekly homework is a really important component for this course. Okay. As you can see, I've listed the exam dates, and you have more than a week to take your first exam. So more than a week is allowed for a window for you to take your first exam, and similarly for your second exam. Okay. The exams do not open before these dates, so you won't be able to take them before those dates. If you need an exception, you should email me, and we can discuss it. The final exam has a smaller window, and that's because the window for final exams are much smaller, and grades are due not that far from when the final exam is given, so there's more of a time crunch towards your final exam. But there is still a window, and you have until April 23rd to take your final exam. Okay. All of your exams are going to be given through Canvas. A makeup exam is generally hard to get. You need to have a good reason, and you can simply email me. Ideally, if you can email me if you have a situation that arises in advance concerning an exam date, it's easier to accommodate. So please keep that in mind. Cheating in this course in any form will not be tolerated, including the use of ChatGPT. So, for example, you are required to turn in a written signature assignment. In submitting that, there will be a plagiarism review. That is one of the tools on Canvas, and that will be an indicator of cheating. So please just don't cheat. Okay. If you're in the unfortunate situation that perhaps you didn't do so well on an exam, it is possible to try and improve that, but you need to meet with your instructor, me, as soon as that happens, and this can't be something that you decide in the last week of the course, because there's not sufficient time to help you relearn some of that material and to complete a sufficient assignment that warrants an exam improvement. Okay. For this course, you will need to access the New York Times, and that need depends on what type of signature assignment you select. Okay. If for any reason this material is in conflict with your core beliefs, you need to meet with me with the first few weeks of class to assess that, and also or to find a section of Math 1040 that doesn't conflict with your core beliefs. You can ask me for accommodation, but if it's not possible, but it may not be possible in some situations. Okay. So if you want more details about core beliefs, it's right here. Okay. One thing that I want to get out of the way is that there is a review for your first two exams, but not for your final exam. And I also want to just stress that your final exam is comprehensive. Um, so a few things that are just important to state for this course. This is an online course, and as such you're going to be required to do a substantial amount of work outside of class, including watching videos, listening to podcasts, attending to and completing homework outside of class, referencing your textbook or online resources. In the instance that, you're not able to complete an assignment on time regarding the homework, you can turn it in late. However, I don't recommend it. There is a 5% penalty per day that will be applied to late assignments. This is a sustainable course, and that's in the course designation. And what that means is that the theme of this course is centered on sustainability. You will have a signature assignment that is related to this theme. And for sustainability, we have two learning outcomes. Our first is that students will be able to comprehend the interconnection between environmental, social, and economic systems in relation to sustainability, and that sustainability has far-reaching consequences that impact more than one discipline. In terms of the discipline of statistics towards sustainability, I want you to be able to interpret statistical analyses to answer scientific questions appropriately, considering the scope of inference and weight of evidence, with an emphasis on questions related to sustainability. Now, there are sustainable components in each week's lecture, but you will also have a signature assignment that is centered on sustainability. You can complete that individually or in groups of 1 to 3 individuals. The assignment should be 2 to 4 pages in length, not included works cited. And you're required to have at least 3 journal, book, or article citations. This signature assignment must address the big question: to what extent is statistics able to make statistical conclusions on issues relating to sustainability, and what do these decisions mean for our society? How does one issue of sustainability affect another? You will have a required quiz related to the data analysis of Salt Lake City temperatures and climate change, and that's required for all students. This is in addition to your signature assignment. In terms of your grades, keep in mind that each assignment is weighted in calculating the percentage, so it's weighted according to these weights. And when you calculate the weighted average, these are the ranges that correspond to each letter grade. Okay. In the event that I need to communicate with you, I'll do so via email or through Canvas. Okay. Now, let's discuss weekly expectations. So on your home page, each week it has a quiz. So for instance, in this first week, you're to watch this welcome video and to take a syllabus quiz. So this quiz is related to items in the syllabus that you have seen before. Okay. And so I won't show you the answer, so I won't go to the build portion. But each week, as I said, there's a little quiz, and you're expected, and it's related to that week's material. Let's go to student view so that we can go through this. So for instance, if I was to take the syllabus quiz, you'll see this appear. So there's no time limit. It's due on the 14th of January. You have 2 attempts. And it doesn't say this, but your average score is going to be recorded here. So let's begin the syllabus quiz. And one thing that I'd recommend in taking the syllabus quiz is this one is not timed, but I'd recommend having the syllabus open while you're taking this quiz. So you have these 3 questions to answer, and this first question is, if you have questions including which of the following information in the email, select all answers that apply. Okay, so perhaps one thing that you might select, and there's multiple things, is to include the text of the question or picture of a question you're having trouble solving. Maybe the name. There are other responses, and I'll let you determine which other selections are appropriate. And here's a similar question. Which of the following applies when contacting the instructor with questions? Select all that apply. Okay, so you get to select which responses here are best based off of looking at the syllabus. Okay, so notice that there's this word select all that apply. So I just want to mention that if you select an incorrect answer, it is worth negative points in Canvas. So for example, if you were to select 1 incorrect answer and 1 correct answer, and that's all you selected, your score for that question would be 0, because the incorrect answer would cancel the points from the correct answer. Okay, so be cautious in your selections. Okay, so that's for week 1. Let's go back here. And so in week 1 you have a quiz, in week 2 you have a quiz, in week 3 you have a quiz. These are the lecture notes. In week 4 you have a quiz right there. In week 5 you have a quiz. And so generally each week you'll have about 1 quiz. When you get to week 7, you'll have your first exam. Okay, you'll have a review for the exam, and in this week this quiz is more or less just a reminder that you do have a signature assignment coming up at the end of the course, and that's the purpose of that quiz. But you happen to have 3 quizzes that week. Then you'll go back and you'll have 1 quiz. Okay, and that's more or less how the course proceeds. There'll be 2 exams, so in week 13 you'll get your second exam and your second review. In week 16 you'll take your final exam. In week 15 you have your signature assignment that you turn in, and you have your signature assignment quiz related to a data analysis. So I'm going to click on the signature assignment, and this is your instructions for your written paper for your signature assignment, and this needs to be centered on a theme on sustainability, and you can take that topic from any one of these 3 items. Any research article related to an analysis in the lecture notes, and it needs to be an actual research article with a citation that I present. Alternatively, you can take the signature assignment quiz to be related to the Salt Lake City temperature analysis quiz that was the other assignment this week, or it can be related to cloud seeding, which is used in Utah. And here's a link to the DNR webpage where you can access this report. And so you can choose components from this report. Now, when you write your paper and you choose components, you need to address and write about why this topic or how this topic is related to sustainability, and explain the interconnection between any of these items. Okay. You need to select parts of the analysis that relate to statistics. So questions such as considering the scope of inference, weight of evidence, and emphasis related to sustainability. You need to include at least 2 different aspects of the analysis that come from at least 2 of these components: graphical displays of data, numerically summarizing data, probability, confidence intervals, hypothesis tests. And you need to explain the conclusions and applications of these components. And one thing that I'll add here that should be on this list is regression. Okay, regression analysis. The last bullet that you need to consider when you select your article or analysis is why you chose that topic. What was appealing to you about it? Okay. You need to have at least 3 citations included in your paper. Okay. A warning: if you use ChatGPT or if you plagiarize, you're going to get a score of 0. Okay. So that's your signature assignment, and that's to be turned in this week. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's go to the student view. So in the second week, and this is the general form of your quizzes. So if I was to go to data collection and take the data collection quiz, you can see that there's your lecture notes. Here's your video lecture. Okay. Now a little bit slow to load, but here's your video lecture. Here's the corresponding textbooks that you could read. So the required one, the course textbook, is here, and you could simply read that. You can see there's no time limit, when it's due, and that there's 2 attempts that you can take. Okay. If I was to begin it, this is what the quiz would look like. So this displays 1 question at a time, and this question says, the newspaper report that higher rates of drowning and ice cream consumption correspond. Does that mean that eating ice cream can put you at risk of drowning? What might be the reason behind the phenomenon? And here's a bunch of questions, and you're supposed to select the best answer. Okay. Here's your your third questions. So here you're supposed to select the best missing statement. So it's a single selection. And again, a single selection. I'm going to continue with this. Eventually, you're going to get some questions that say, select all answers that apply. So here, you're going to look at this data collection, and you're going to select all answers that apply. So the answer could be the data is observational, the data is a designed experiment, and you could also select the response variable as this. So you're just supposed to select all that apply. Keep in mind, that incorrect answers are worth negative points. So you want to be a little bit cautious. Okay. So each week you're going to have a quiz that looks like that, and you're simply going to complete it. You're going to watch the lectures that are recorded for you, or you can look through the lecture notes, or you can read your textbook, or you can do all of the above as you find is best for you and your learning. Okay, so that is pretty much what's expected of you each week. And the big things to think about in the course, keep in mind you have this signature assignment quiz here. Okay, let's just look over that. Let me go to student view so I can preview it for you. So let's begin it so that you can see. So this is required for everyone. It's based off of this data set. It's a real data set from the Salt Lake City Airport monitor for temperatures. And this is what your quiz looks like. So here's the output of a statistical analysis, and based on this output you're to select all answers that are true. So it asks questions that are more advanced and that you haven't seen before, because this is towards the end of the course, but based on what you've learned to this at this extent of the year, you're supposed to select all the answers that you think are true. So this is the output for a statistical analysis with a regression. This question asks you to look at the graphs and assess the assumptions of regression. Okay, and you'll get more questions like this. Okay, so that is an orientation to this course. Thank you very much, and welcome to Math 1040.